Hey everyone, and welcome back. Before we begin here today, please make sure that you like and subscribe because it really does help out our channel and it also helps us reach others in need of assistance with these topics. So in today's video, we're going to be covering calculus and we're going to be looking at utilizing the chain rule in order to find derivatives of expressions shown. And this will be our fourth part in this particular chain rule series. So we have this expression right here of d dt of 1 over the square root of 5t squared minus 3t plus 6, and we have to find the derivative here with respect to t. So what we're going to do here is we are going to apply the chain rule. And now in order to apply the chain rule, what we're going to do is we are going to set part of this equal to one variable and then the remainder equal to another variable. So we are typically going to use u and f as our two variable sets here. Now, u will pretty much be anything that is underneath the square root or anything that is to a power as a whole. So it's a larger expression that is to a square root or under a square root or to a power. So for instance, this whole expression of 5t squared minus 3t plus 6, since it is all under the square root, we are going to set that as our first variable. So this would be 5t squared minus off 3t plus 6 is our variable u. And then everything else will be our variable f in terms of u. So it'd be 1 over the square root, and now we have this entire expression equal to u, so we would just plug in our variable of u. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the square root, and I'm just going to try to get everything into a power format. So anytime you have a square root, usually it's better to form that into a power scenario. So we would have 1 over u to the 1/2 power, which is essentially just u to the minus 1/2 power. Alrighty, so fully applying the chain rule, what we have here is df dt will be equal to df du multiplied by du dt. So essentially, we've taken this derivative with respect to t, and we've said that this entire thing right here is f. So we're replacing that with our f variable. So let's go ahead and let's find out what these expressions are. What is our derivative of f with respect to u, and what is our derivative of u with respect to t? Alrighty, so we would have df du would be equal to d du of our expression of u, or expression of f with respect to u, which would just be u to the minus 1/2. And then our du dt, which is our derivative of u with respect to t, would just be the derivative with respect to t of our u variable, which is 5t squared minus off 3t plus 6. So we are just going to take each one of these expressions and plug them in over here, basically just finding the derivatives and then multiplying them together. Alrighty. So my full derivative would be equal to d du of u to the minus 1/2 multiplied by d dt of 5t squared minus off 3t plus 6. And then we just go ahead and we find the derivatives of each expression here, which this is not that terrible here because each of these expressions, since we have this into the form of a power, we essentially have this type of expression going on where we have a to the b. If we take the derivative of that, it would be a times b, then b to the minus 1. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's work this out. So the derivative of u to the minus 1/2 would just be minus 1/2, dropping that power down, and then taking our variable remaining the same, and then subtracting 1 from 1/2, which gives us minus 3 over 2. And then multiplying by the second part, dropping the 2 down, multiplying by the 5, so that'd be 10, and then t, our same variable, then subtracting 1 from that power, which is just 1, and then whenever you just have a constant times your variable with no power, when you take the derivative, it is just the number attached to that variable, and then plus 0 right here because 6, well, it doesn't have anything with the variable t, so its derivative is 0 with respect to t. So that's what we end up with. Now we can just simplify down, and for this u portion right here, what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our u that we set, which is 5t squared minus 3t over 6, or plus 6, which is technically written up here. So just plug that in for u right here. And let's do some rearranging before we actually plug that in. So I'm just going to rearrange this a little bit. So it'd be minus 1 over 2 u to the 3/2 power. Since it's negative power, it goes in the denominator. And then we would just have that multiplied by 10t minus off 3. So now what I'm going to do is plug in my u here, and I'm going to throw the 10t minus 3 up the top. So we end up with a minus 10t minus 3, which you could take the negative sign through there if you wanted to, all divided by 2 times 5t squared minus off 3t plus 6, and all of that is to the 3/2 power. And that would be your derivative for that beginning expression. And that's how you utilize the chain rule in order to solve that. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to see more problems solved this Friday, please check out the other videos on our channel. Also, if you haven't done so already, please like this video, leave a positive comment below, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.